Hi there, I'm John and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm John from Nigeria, and on this channel I review books. I do the occasional singular book reviews, book tags, book hauls, everything bookish. You can find it here. And if you're a fan of essay length written reviews, I write for a Substack called A Couple of Dorks. Will be resuming that very soon, so you can check it out and follow us to keep up with my written reviews. Today I do not want to waste any time. I am going out very soon. I have a stack of books here at the side. It's my 26 for 2026. I do this video every year. I figured it's already the end of January, but it does not matter. I have to fulfill my I don't know what to call it, but I have to do it every year essentially. And usually if you have been following me for the past 2 years when I've done this, I would usually do a mix of physical books and electronic books, ebooks as well. But this year I decided I have too many books. I have a little over 100 books now, which is a lot for me not having so much. They are the physical possessions I own the most of. So I want to whittle down the ratio of what I have read to what I have not read, because I cannot show my shelf now, but it's like a small portion of what I own that I have read. I don't think there are up to 20 books I own that I have read. Maybe I've given out some as well and sold some, so that's not true. But currently, the ratio is so wide. Like, I think it's, let's say, we can be seeing 85, 84 to like, no, I have almost 120 books, so it's a lot that I have not read. Let me just say that it's a lot. In that 120, I have read like maybe 20, if not less. Then there's the 100. So I decided to pick out all 26 books from my shelf this year, and I'm just going to jump right into it. The first one here is Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. This, I think, is one of the books that a lot of Nigerians, even if they are not major readers, they have either heard of or they have read it, because it's very notable worldwide. But I can tell you, it is so popular here, and I can go up to 5 of my reader friends, and I'm sure I'll be the only one who has not read this book. And I gave up wanting to read it at a time, right? But I got this copy free as a gift last year, so I think I will attempt to do it this year. It's a bit over 500 pages. The writing is not so small, but it's chunky, even though it does not look like it. But yeah, I want to do this one. I have The Age of Innocence, Edith Wharton. I've owned this before now, I think about 4 years ago, and I got it back last year. And it's a New York novel. I really do not want to keep postponing me reading not just Edith Wharton, but this particular novel. So I am putting it on the list for this year. You will notice that I have quite a good number of classics on this list. Next is a book I've actually started a few times. It's The Elements of Style by William Strunk and Ebiboh. This is a book that is highly recommended for writers, especially by Stephen King, who I credit his memoir on writing as like as the book that revolutionized my eye on like writing and even reading and what can be done with like the craft. So yeah, I've always wanted to read this book because of him, and you can see how my copy looks like. It has been a few years I've owned this book, but this was not how I got it though. It just wore off a little bit. Yeah, I always get to like, let's say the first I get past the first 3 or so pages and I get like stuck, and I want to write more this year, so I really want to take this book seriously. It's so short. Next, this one I'm not even going to say much on. It's Heart of Darkness, Joseph Conrad. Like, I really do not know why I have not read this book. I have owned this book since 2020. It's pissing me off because like it has really small writing, right? But it's just 100 pages, so it's nothing I cannot chest, I would say, as we would say here. Something I cannot like move through. And I actually read the first 2 or so pages like last year, just to get a feel of it. I wanted to actually read it, but I just stopped. So this year, this is like a necessary one. Please, guys, hold me to it. I did Animal Farm last year. I want to do 1984 this year and keep up like my streak of Orwell novels. But really, just get into this. I've gotten to that very notable one. I want to get to this one because I think it's about time. It's about time. I see all the hype around it, but see how people talk about how it's reflecting our current day, and I really want to. I think there's no better time to read it than this period. I have Salem's Lot Stephen King because I have not done a Stephen King book in 2 years now, which is unlike me. I miss him, I miss his writing, I miss his voice. I want to go back to him this year. Next on the list, Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. If you have been here long enough, you know why this is on the list. This year, I am going to do it. I am going to do it. I am going to do it. It's been too long and I feel like I am missing out on something. So please, God, I need to read this book this year. I don't know how. Like, my reading year is not starting out so strong as I want it to. I don't know what's going on, but I'm trying my best, guys. I'm trying my best. I also have this To Kill a Mockingbird, which you guys know my tattered gifted copy, but yeah, not too much words about this. I've shown this the past few years. This is one I am hoping I'll do this year as well. I have also now put Tess of the D'Urbervilles because I don't know, I've not read any Hardy. I've heard great things about Hardy, particularly this novel that follows, I don't know, a young woman, a young girl, very interested in seeing what all that's about. So yeah, this one is one. This year, I want to do my first James Joyce, and I want it to be Dubliners because it was his debut, and I've heard it's a great place to start with Joyce. So yeah, I've also added this novel called Wendell-Berry by Hannah Coulter because I have owned it for a while too, and I don't know why it's making me tired to see it, knowing I've not read it and that I've wanted to read it for a while. So have this on the list. I also put Ninth by Eli Wiesel because I wanted to read more Holocaust novels since I read Diary of a Young Girl, and that was like 6 years ago, almost 6 years ago at this point. And I've read the introduction to this and I've heard it's very like punchy and devastating, so I've been a bit skeptical to go into it, but I really want to get to it this year. I put It Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro because I've heard this Nobel Prize winner is a master at what he does. What he does, I do not know, but I really want to read him. I don't know if I'm exactly going to start here. I do want to read it this year, but I might read Clara and the Sun as well. I don't know, still thinking about it. Then, like Joyce, I also know where I want to start with this author, Charles Dickens. I want to do A Tale of Two Cities first. It's the one with the very famous first sentence. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times, it was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness, it was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity, it was the season of light, it was the season of darkness, it was the spring of hope, it was the winter of despair. We had everything before us, we had nothing before us. We were all going direct to heaven, we were all going direct the other way. I'm going to stop there. I already like that first sentence. Although there's this author, Alice Smith, I've read Autumn by her. I started reading Winter like sometime last year, but I stopped. And she does do a twist on that the first two lines. And yeah, so I'm very excited to read this. In short, I've heard so many fantastic things about Dickens. But next, I have 100 Years of Solitude, Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I've shown this a bit. I love this cover so much. I hope I get to do this year. And I want to continue my streak of James Baldwin novels, or James Baldwin books. I did Giovanni's Room 2024, top 3, Fire Next Time last year, honorable mention, and now I want to do Go Tell It on the Mountain. I actually would love to read If Beale Street Could Talk first, but I've owned this book even before I read Giovanni's Room, so very small writing if you can see, but hopefully I get to do it this year. But next, Frankenstein, I've mentioned, not going to mention too much, slated for beginning of next month, hopefully. Next, Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf, because I believe there's a woman writer who I read every year, because most times my favorite author of the year, like in the past few years, I would say 2020 was, yes, Diary of a Young Girl. 2021 was A Little Life Hanya, a woman. 2022 was The Handmaid's Tale, a woman. 2023 was Secret Illness, What Are You Going Through, a woman. 2024 was, okay, Salinger, Catcher in the Rye, and but my number two was Farante, and 2025 was also Steinbeck, but my number two was Nella Larson. So there's always a, but the most important book to me every year is almost the most important thing I read. Most times is written by a woman. Like last year, it was Goodbye to All That, the essay by Didion. And so there are these women who I've wanted to read in literature that every time I've heard about them, they are so notable. Like people just adore them, but also talk about how like shifting their works can be. And I read The Belger last year finally, and it moved me and just stayed with me. And I think Wolf is going to be one of those women that is going to stay with me. I don't know, I just have this feeling inside of me. So I want to start with Mrs. Dalloway. I have not done an Hemingway since The Old Man and the Sea. Since I reread The Old Man and the Sea, I've read that twice. So yeah, I want to do this one also rises this year. Not so long, around 250-ish pages. And yep, I really want to do another Hemingway. I've heard mixed things about this one. I'm not going to lie to you, but like I'm going to go for it regardless because I really liked The Old Man and the Sea, and Joan Didion swears by Ernest Hemingway, says everything about how he wrote he was like the best writer of sentences and things like that. And yep, so for next I have Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, which I'm actually planning to start on the 1st of next month because there's this Wuthering Heights adaptation by Emerald Fennell. I don't know if anyone knows her. She did Saltburn a few years ago. Then she has Promising Young Woman, which I've not seen, but Saltburn was kind of a very mixed review film. Like you either liked it or you could excuse all the like grotesque things that happened in it, or you hated it viscerally. And so she's doing an adaptation of this work, and I really want to. It's sad that this is what is finally pushing me, but it's not like it's finally pushing me. I've wanted to read this book for a while, and I've never just gotten the chance to settle with it. So I want to use the next, like from 1st to 13th before the adaptation comes out, to read it. Next I have My Brilliant Friend by Ferrante. I'm not saying anything. They gifted me this book like years ago. I'm going to do it this year. I am going to do it this year. Another one I've been showing on here the past few years, but I finally have a physical copy for the first time. So A Gentleman in Moscow, I think I'm going to finally do this now that I have it physically because it's a bit chunky and not just like on ebook. Next I have a book that is hailed as maybe the debut of the century so far, and it's White Teeth by Zadie Smith, who like you just hear great things about every time. I've read an essay by her, but that's the only thing I've read by her. I've owned this a little while now, and I think this year should be a good year to finally see what all the fuss is about. Like when I think of people that might win the Nobel Prize someday because of their notoriety, what you hear about them, like modern authors, I think she's one of the ones that come to mind. I have Olive Kittredge by Elizabeth Strout, another book I wanted to own a long time and I finally got last year. And yes, so I'm so excited because I don't know, there are just some books that you know you are going to like for some reason because of what you have heard about them, right? And I think this is one of those books that I just think I'm going to like. I know I'm going to love it, in fact. So we are down to 2 books. The 25th here is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I think this is the year. Because last year I did not own it. It was on my list. The year before I did not own it. It was on my list. Now it's in my hands. I'm so happy to own this book. I cannot tell you how much, but now that I own all 3 of her, I can eventually do like a deep dive situation in the future. But yep, this one I will be the judge on if the rumors are true. This will definitely get a separate review. Nothing like that's for sure. And finally on the list, it's a classic that I think is going to be my major classic goal of the year. The other ones are goals, right? But the way I am still reading Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment, I'm barely going through this. I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm being so lazy with it. I'm just like 50 pages in, but maybe from next month I'll be a little more serious with it. But my big classic that I would love to do this year is Middlemarch by George Eliot. I just like hear so much good things about Eliot's writing and about this book, and I am slating it for March. I think March of the Mammoths or something like that. So hopefully this year. And I'm going out now, so I have to hurry out. But yeah, that's the video. If you have any of these books on your list, just let me know. I will see you in the next one. Please, all the comments, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and bye.